Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about what business leaders in our times are thinking on a career in artificial intelligence and machine learning. The other day I was reading an article on CNBC what Jack Ma has to say on building a career on data analysis, and that was very interesting. So I thought, why don't I talk about what other business leaders are also thinking about machine learning, artificial intelligence, or data analytics in general, and what is their thought on a career in these fields. So I've got four global business leaders. One is Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, um, the founder of Microsoft Corporations, Bill Gates. Sunder Pichai is the CEO of Google currently, and Elon Musk, as we all know, he is the founder of Tesla, and previously was also the founder of PayPal. All right, so they're all my favorites, and they have all done a great job in terms of disrupting different businesses, and all three are founders: Jack Ma, Bill Gates, and Elon Musk. Both of them are entrepreneurs, but Sundar Pichai is a global leader, who is very young and leading one of the topmost tech company in the world. So let me talk to you what they have to say on a career in artificial intelligence. So this is the article that actually caught my attention. I was going through this article. It's very interesting what Jack Ma has to say about the high-paying jobs in the future. So the subject of this article is this is what to study if you want a high-paying job in the future. And Jack Ma is talking about your ability to analyze data is going to decide your paycheck. That's what, and it surprised me a bit because somebody of his stature is actually giving so much of importance to data analysis. For a while data analysis has been there, but it has always been a very niche field, and considered to be very much a technical field, a niche technical field which has very limited growth. And if you're into this career, you have very limited growth. Your career growth saturates after some time. But somebody of his stature is a businessman. He's giving so much of importance to a career in data analysis, or his data analysts are in fact helping him taking very important decisions in his firm, which is a multi-billion dollar firm. So I'm sure it is now being accepted widely as a more general career, and which is not just a technical career. It is also helping the business people finding better solution to their problems. So this is one interesting article, and I highly recommend you to read this one. I've given the link to this article. So Bill Gates also thinks pretty much the same. So and he has written this on his Twitter account that try a career in artificial intelligence, energy, and bioscience. He thinks that these are the three areas that can make a huge impact on the planet. So artificial intelligence, in general, can be said, similar to the other fields like machine learning or data analysis. Probably, the statistical data analysis would be statistical data analysis, and then machine learning, and then AI. Okay, so this would be the order of difficulty. Okay, so data analysis using statistical techniques, and then using machine learning techniques, and more sophisticated deep learning. That's what we're calling these days, deep learning techniques. We call that as AI. So AI in some way actually has some component of data analysis and machine learning. So he's also endorsing a career in these three fields in some sense. And so next I'll go to what Elon Musk has to say. So he's written and he has talked about it quite a few times. You can watch some of his videos on YouTube. So he's the one who's behind the initiative known as OpenAI. Okay, so it's a non-profit organization that is dedicated to do research on artificial intelligence and how human intelligence can be brought together with artificial machine intelligence. And among few others, he is also one of the promoter of this open source research. And there are also other organizations that are sponsoring this research work, but he is one of the few people who have actually been backing of this idea along with Sam Altman. So he's also big time into promoting AI for human good. And his fear is that this could be a disaster in terms of losing out jobs for common people, thinking that this is going to give very undue advantage to many intelligent people who have the skills of automating everything, so that with less number of employees they can actually make a lot of revenue for themselves. So AI is going to be big. That's what he thinks. So that's one interesting insight that we have found from his writings and speeches, that it is more dangerous in terms of economic disparity than it was initially thought to be. So this is important, not just from the point of view of how we think our society is going to be. Even from a career point of view, it is important that this skill in having or rather people with AI skill will have an advantage over people who don't have AI skills. So that exactly is going to be one big difference between people who will be highly successful in future and people who will be lacking somewhat behind. Sunder Pichai is the CEO of Google, and he is not an entrepreneur, so to say, but he is leading one of the topmost tech company in the world, and is still young, and is big time endorsing artificial intelligence within in Google. And Google has the reputation of doing AI research from very beginning, when it was not even profitable for the company, but yet it was spending quite a lot of money on doing AI research. So Google DeepMind and Google X, Google driverless car, all that has been part of Google's initiatives, which hasn't actually brought a lot of revenue for the company, but they have been backing the research. And of late, in fact, in last few years only, he has been talking a lot about the use of machine learning and data analysis for the day-to-day activities within Google, and how it is empowering the different product and services provided by Google. In fact, if you go to Google Career, I took a look at the Google Career page where you go to work for Google. Nowadays, the number of requirements for ML engineers and analysts, statistical data analysis or quantitative data analysis, that's what they call it, has gone up drastically. You'll see openings in Dublin, in US, in London, in India, and so on. So they're heavily on ML and data analysis. Question is, why is this so big? We always had data, right? For centuries we have been collecting data, and we always had algorithms, right? Whether any algorithm you have come across, they have been there for quite a while. Some of them are quite old, and many of them are somewhat more recent. And we always had computers. Even in 80s, 90s, we had computers, and we had powerful servers. And why so big? And why so big in just about last decade or so? Maybe up to 2007 or 8. So in last 10 years, it has become so big that everyone is talking about it. Every newspaper is, even newspapers which have very general newspaper, not technical ones. I'm not talking about TechCrunch, but even like CNBC or BBC or New York Times, they are covering about big data, machine learning, data analysis, statistical data analysis, so much. So why is that? So the first thing is that the data growth. So the rate at which data was growing for last century was quite slow compared to the rate at which it is growing currently, right? Um, so the faster data growth is contributing a lot towards the importance of data in our society or in businesses. Use of internet. Well, we always have been using internet for a while now, but it was always limited to corporations, educational institutions, and so on, because not many people had access to computers and networks, right? But now, given the rise of the connectivity accesses and the rise of mobile phones and so on, now people can access to internet and do activities there, and that creates data. And of course, you can talk about sensors and other things which are somewhat easier to get collect data nowadays. So that the popularity of these hardware devices is also contributing a lot more data. Connected devices, yes. So this is we call that as the Internet of Thing, which is nothing but the devices, all the electronics devices, they're connected to each other in some sense, which ensures that a lot of our human activities get smoother because of devices communicating among themselves intelligently. Now that will provide more data. We are still somewhat far away from realizing IoT services in our daily life, but that's going to happen, and it's already started, and it's increasing. It is rapidly progressing. Computational power has improved drastically. I'm not an expert on this matter, but what I've heard and what I've read on different technical magazines, that it has actually increased quite dramatically in the last decade or so. Cloud services. Not everybody had access to large computational power. If you take Google's BigQuery or Amazon Web Services and many of these other cloud-based service companies were providing subscription-based cloud services. You can actually do a lot of data analysis, or you can build your neural network or all these sophisticated modeling techniques on their computational infrastructure by just paying them a few dollars. So that was not possible, without having that infrastructure. A small organization or an individual researcher cannot do that. So that has improved. That has actually enabled researchers, smaller companies to use data and algorithms in a smarter way to build products and services. Improved connectivity. Now, connectivity was very limited to large cities. People who have come from smaller towns and villages, you wouldn't have heard of what internet was, even 5 years ago. But now that is so common that even places where there was no bank, no post office, nothing, even no roads, even there you have smartphones, and people have access to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and so whatnot. Automation. Well, everybody wants automation nowadays because that's one of competitive advantage. If you have this competitive advantage, automation is the key. So these are areas contributing towards the popularity of some of these, the buzzwords, so to say, is big data, machine learning, and then deep learning nowadays, and data analysis in particular. Data analysis, right? So big data is always a relative term, which is getting bigger and bigger, and initially people were thinking that's something is not going to be very realistic and not very usable, but they have been proven wrong. Machine learning has always been there for many decades now, but it's becoming more popular over the last few years, few decades. Deep learning is very recent phenomenon, which is is some sort of a rather um, I would say they're like subset of each other. Although people have different opinions, I'm not an expert, so I think they're more or less related. That's all I can say. Um, but it's the good thing about deep learning is that it is able to provide some of these results that machine learning was failing to do for decades, and thanks to the increased computational power and some of the finest algorithms in recent times, this has been possible. Data analysis has always been there. Actuaries have been using data analysis for over a century now, but that has also gained a lot of popularity. Okay, now that given that in mind, one thing that we need to understand here is that, okay, fine, what are the areas where we have seen some results? Now everybody's talking about it, but what are the results? Well, we have seen the driverless car. It's already on road. It's already experimented, somewhat semi-driverless, I would say, semi-automatic, so to say. That is already there in advanced countries. Disease detection, especially cancer cell detections, is already there in place in many places. In many other applications of healthcare systems, machine learning algorithms have been successfully implemented, and they're doing really well. That's what people are talking about it, and that's what a lot of these tech magazines are writing about the success of ML algorithms in healthcare. And we're already familiar with the voice search and the natural language processing through which we are understanding human languages in different forms. That's always successful, right? If you use your Siri or your Google devices, you are very much familiar with these things. So we have seen some results. That's what we can see. It's not all hype. I rather say it's already showing results. So some of the business areas where there's a lot of promise, and there are of course many business areas, but I'll just point out a few of them. So manufacturing is where it has there's a lot of promise. Manufacturing is in one place that has not been innovating a lot. That's what people have been saying. But a lot of potential for innovation is there because of the collection of data, whether it's in terms of soft flow management, waste management, better product development, and so on. It's all happening. It's transforming the auto industry. It's transforming many other manufacturing industry. And I've given an article to published on McKinsey. You can take a look at it. How analytics is actually transforming the manufacturing sector. Healthcare is one area that is very promising, and it's very important for the society. So because we don't have efficient doctors at all places, so if you have access to reasonable automated health checkups and so on, and with data, easily accessible data from different patients in the past, so that a lot of things can well be automated, and the human error of whether it's disease diagnosis or whether it's doing the actual operation, or it's a medical checkup, everything can be made more efficient and cost effective. That's very important, right? It's very costly affairs. Healthcare is very costly affairs, even in the advanced country, let alone the third world countries and so on. It's this sector, I would say, is badly needs data analysis, or I think one sector that is going to change the society more than anything else is healthcare sector. Marketing and sales, that's happening quite big. We have been using market mix, spend, and direct marketing for a while. Even before this big data hype, these models were there in place in many companies. But The way the traditional models can be used in the internet data with the more social media or internet data will transform, and the competitive advantage that a company will have will depend on how well these models can be implemented on the newer data with the newer tools and techniques evolve over these periods, right? So a lot of cases have to be, business cases have to be made, and people who have been involved in these areas should actually work out these cases and publish, so that the people who are coming into this field, are new into this field, and people who are non-technical, they are more into business side, they will also make use of that. Fintech, banking, insurance, they have always been using data. I think that's one area which has been using data, and algorithms more than anyone else, and they have been using for since a long time. So whether it's risk assessment, pricing, customer acquisition, these companies have been using data analysis, for decades. But the means and the tools, techniques will change and have been changing for last few years. What I have seen in companies, but there's a lot of a lot of things, a lot of exploration that is going on, and a lot of investment is going on in this field as well, especially in the fintech, which is completely a new thing for the world. Okay, so all that said, what are the career options? Because we start with career, right? What the great leaders think, and they have said very clearly that this is going to be one of the finest career for future. Now, very unlikely you will find top global leaders talking about a career which is considered to be more niche or technical, even 10 years ago. But now it has caught the limelight. And why? I mean, we have of course learned why has it been so popular. But what are the areas where it is going to be very demanding in terms of the requirement of skills? So we all know that AI is going to disrupt. There is no question about it. This is going to be a big thing. Okay, and it is happening faster than people had imagined. So the two types of skill sets that I think every company nowadays want, right? One is technical skills, or more engineering skills. People who build products, people who write code, who build hardware products, and so on. And analysts, business people, people who analyze data, who do business, and so on, right? So people who are in business, HR, finance, marketing, sales, and so on, right? So developers will be required to do automation heavily. So they will be using a lot of machine learning, artificial intelligence techniques like deep learning. Okay, so they will be using a lot of ML and DL. On the other hand, people from business, HR, finance, who are helping business to grow, they will be using a lot of statistical data analysis, more traditional statistical data analysis, and somewhat machine learning as well, to get better insight from data. So the decisions are going to be fully data driven. So that is going to be the thing. So the senior management is not going to they're not going to take decision based on what they actually feel. That has to be, every single decision has to be substantiated by a strong insight from the data, and that's where analysts will play a big role, right? So developer and analysts both will find these analytical skills, machine learning skills, statistical skills very useful. So developers and business people should understand what machine learning and what data analysis are. Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. And you can also contact us, and you can also visit our website. Thank you so much.